The police force, did you? You got directly involved. You told at one point police to shoot protesters in the legs. Surely live fire is not something that should be used in protests. Do you regret those comments?
I don't regret those comments at all, because the law allows the police to use force when other people's lives are in danger.
Surely there are ways of doing that without using live ammunition.
That is according to you. I think the police know what they need to do. And the police, by the way, understand that it is within their purview. That is why when I came into office, I ensured that the police was independent. The police carried out their responsibilities independently.
Well, you say independent, you're telling the police to shoot protesters in the legs. That sounds like you're ordering the police.
No, there is nowhere in the law that allows me to order the police.
The oldest newspaper in Kenya, The Standard, had on its front page Rogue Ruto, and you stopped live media coverage, or tried to, of these protests. Kenya's known for its freedom of media. It's one of the great beacons of free media in Kenya. People I've spoken to, young Kenyans, say they are worried now about censorship in your country.
I don't think so. I mean, you yourself just said tried, because it never happened. I mean, media is independent in Kenya. They write all manner of stuff. I think what you've just said, rogue, is one of the mildest. They say all manner of things about me. They say all manner of things about other people. I don't agree with what they write. I don't agree with what they say. But they have the right to say it, whichever way they want. They are also free to lie and to churn out falsehood. I mean, it's up to their conscience to write the right thing. But the people of Kenya ultimately will make an assessment of who has exceeded, who has not, who has done the right thing, who has not.
Let's look at some of the grievances of the protesters. This latest protest followed the death of a blogger who was a teacher who died in police custody. Initially the police said he'd hit his head on a cell wall. I mean, it was unacceptable for someone to die in police custody. It was unacceptable to have a cover-up, was it not?
That's correct. And that is why the police who are involved in that particular incident today are behind bars.
But is there a wider issue of police brutality in Kenya?
There is, we have a police force of 110,000. You will not miss elements within the police who are rogue. And as and when we identify the rogue ones, we deal with them. Like in this particular case, when it was discovered that what they told the country was not right, the correct investigations were done, and those who are involved have been brought to book. So we will continue to make sure that the police, of course, majority of the police, know what they are doing.
The other thing the protesters talk about is what human rights groups call enforced disappearances. 2024, it's reported more than 80 people, critics of the government, disappeared. You've got them?
I can tell you, none of those people. I have told them. I have told people who claim that so-and-so has disappeared to step forward and tell the country who are these, when were they abducted, and many of the stories that you hear are people who when you tell them to come out, they don't. They just want to make general statements. And I'm telling you, we are coming from a dangerous background where, forget about people disappearing, where bodies were recovered from all manner of places in the past. Today, there are no incidences of Kenyans that are executed. I committed to the country that I would stop it, and I did.
The other thing they complain about, the protesters, is corruption. What are you doing?
Absolutely everything. I did sign the law that prohibits public officers to participate in doing business with government, what we call the Conflict of Interest Bill. Now it is law. I did sign this into law 3 months ago. We have deployed additional resources to the anti-corruption agency. We have deployed additional resources to the Director of Public Prosecution. We have hired more judges. I think I have hired the most judges than any president in 3 years to make sure that the criminal justice system, the judiciary, is properly enabled to deal with all manner of issues, especially corruption.
Now, the protesters are all young. They're the Gen Z. They are the people who led were the engine of your campaign. And you've lost a lot of those people who were fighting for you and believed you were the man to deliver change. Can you regain their trust, do you think?
They have since discovered that every commitment I made, including how to empower the young people, from education to creating jobs, to making sure that there is health, to making sure that we have food, I have kept my commitment. And the entire country today, many people will tell you, the debate is no longer whether William Ruto has delivered. That debate is closed.
Mr. President, I accept what you're saying, but it doesn't match the polling of Kenyans. A recent poll said 62% of Kenyans feel the country is heading in the wrong direction.
Those are polls that, they are different polls by different pollsters. You yourself have said that you do not have the backing of any reasonable objective poll on these subjects. I will tell you, in the last election, the polls showed that I was never going to win the election. I won. So there is a world of a difference between what you see and what you get.
We talked about the economy, and that's one of the reasons protesters are unhappy, but certainly the official figures show that there is now sustained economic growth. You are here in Doha, where there's an important meeting that's been taking place about trying to reduce poverty and inequality. Do you feel that much has been achieved here?
Yes, I think the international solidarity around matters development, social development, education, health, social protection. You know, these are critical elements of the social fabric of society. It is unfortunate that we are holding this conference 30 years after the first one. I believe that I think we dropped the ball globally. We should have been on top of this. Of course, so much has happened in 30 years. The world is a lot different from what it was then. But that does not take away the fact that we need to do more. We need to be better. We need international solidarity around development, around the social issues. And that is why the focus of this summit was on matters to do with poverty, creating jobs, education, health. And I am very confident, and we have a very good account, especially those of us from the Global South. And I speak for Kenya. What it was then and what it is now are a world apart.